What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another new tutorial video on my server. Or on my channel here. So as you can see before, we did a decal with a little mini map there in the corner with an icon and stuff. We've done some pretty cool tutorials there. Then we also, we don't take damage yet, but we show that we can take damage. So, just we'll have to get it to go with the health bar. I mean, obviously the health bar works and it respawns. So today we're going to work on getting a pause menu in here and show you guys what we can do with that. So without further ado, let's get right into the pause menu for today. So first, what you're going to do is, since we have a tutorial section for you got minimap, decal, blueprints, widgets, it is going to be a widget. So you're going to be creating a widget blueprint on the user interface. So right click user interface widget blueprint. You are going to click the user widget button. You're going to call this widget blueprint main. Whoop, not all caps though. Main, or not main menu, pause. Excuse me. Pause menu for in-game. Okay. Control S to save. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and we'll get right into this in a second. And also open up your third person character blueprint and your project settings. First thing, once you open up your project settings, you're gonna come down here to input under the engine. You're gonna add an action mapping. And it will say new action mapping at first, but go ahead and delete that. You're gonna call this pause, because obviously you're gonna pause the game, right? And then whatever you want that button to be, whenever you do press pause, you can either choose it from here, but for me, since I'm using the keyboard, it's easy if I press that and then press the button. So P for pause. And so there's no save button, so this is already done. I can close out of this. Okay. My next thing, I have to create a canvas panel showing, of course, what's on my screen. So this is my screen right here. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to pull some text onto your screen. And you can kind of decorate this however you want. Make sure that you size everything appropriately. But first of all, you're going to call this pause menu. And you want to make sure you size this to the content right here. So that way, if you resize it, then the box resizes as well. So now I have my little pause menu thing there. Go to font and then bring it up a little bit. So make it say like 60. There you go. And since it's on a white background, white doesn't really make too much sense. So we're going to change this to blue. Let's see. Let's try. There you go. That blue. That's perfect. Or even if we went with like a sky blue, maybe. There you go. Because it'll be on a darker background when we're done, actually. So you got your little pause menu there. And then your anchor here on your canvas panel for your text. Make sure you anchor that to your center, because then it will stay centered on your thing. Okay. The next thing you're going to need some buttons here. So to click on your buttons to interact. So we're going to put a few buttons in here. Drag 2 or 3 of them, depending on what you want to make. And again, we're going to do the same thing. Size the content for each of these. It's not going to seem like much at first, but you'll see what I'm doing here in just a moment. Okay. And then you drag the text block onto it. And then there you go. Okay. And again, size the button to the content. And on the text, this one, we're going to first put continue. All right. Because obviously you want to continue. And you want to make this about, say, 50. Oh. Okay. Um, hmm. Okay. 1 second. There you go. And again, you want to kind of put this in the center because you kind of want it to stay. There you go. You want it to stay with what you want it to, right? Okay. And I resized that to 70, so I'm going to do the same thing with these other pieces. Okay. Rename this one to retry. So if you die, you retry, right? Okay. I'm going to rename the text block as well, so that way when it's time to do the variable later, you'll see what I mean by that. Then you already have that available. All right, continue. Oops. It's just easier for you to just rename the buttons so you're not having to rename the text every time. Let's just go ahead and, oh jeez. Okay. Continue 1. Let's just put 1. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, continue. Let's go ahead and move this. Continue. So as you can see, this is now continue now. Okay, let me detach this text real quick. Okay. All right, and this is continue. All right, and then you're click up here on your button, and again, you size it where you need it. But let's see. Let's say right here for now, and then your text is attached to it. So obviously, again, you want to make it bigger. So let's just try 50. So there you go. Why does it keep doing that? Okay. So keep moving the text. That's why. Okay. So all right. Next button, retry. So you're gonna call this retry. So same thing with this text. Delete that real quick. Okay. So you're gonna come back up here on the button and just rename it. So in that way, it since it's parented with the thing, then your text block, all you have to do is just rename it here. Your text block to retry. There you go. All right, so retry button, and then again, size of your content already, and then your next thing is how come I should be able to? Oh, it's because I need to resize the text. That's what it is. My bad. Okay, so 50. There you go. Then back on the button to drag in where you need it. And again, make sure that anchor is somewhere around the middle. And then the last one, you're going to make sure it's close to the bottom because that's where quit's going to be. Okay. So I'm going to name this quit. All right. And to make it easier, so that way whenever you're not renaming all these texts, you can always do quit button, retry button, so that way it doesn't say you can't name it that. All right. So Now that we got our buttons and we got our text on there, all right. All right, and then our quit down here. Make sure you anchor this towards the bottom, so that way when you interact with this, then you get what happens. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need, you're going to go up here to, and then you're going to always also readjust the coloring as well, but blur, you're going to add that in here. You're going to draw this for your whole canvas. And then, since you have this now on your thing, then you have this selected. You go to your anchors, make sure it's full screen, and then you have your blur strength right here, right? So make sure it's at a 3 or higher. And since you can kind of see it even blurs out the words, then on your Z order, you want to put -1, and it'll fix it for you. And you can kind of see, then you'll see the game background and not the blur pause screen. Okay, so next thing, because all these buttons are interactable, let's make sure this copies and pastes real quick. Let's copy the hex linear to each and every one of your text colors so they all match. The buttons don't really matter. You can always change the color of that if you'd like, but they do have to be on there. So since the thing does have to be on there, make it, well, let's see, wrong thing, hold on. Make your background color, make it black, you know, so that way you can kind of see. Okay, perfect. So click on your button, background color under appearance, move it to black, and then your, oh, right, I didn't copy and paste this first. Oops. Okay. So yes, on the text, you have to make sure you do that for each one, just like so. So we'll do that for the text, and then we'll fix that up on the background real quick. So you don't want it on that white background where you can't see it. So background color, black. So there you go. Here's our pause menu now for a visual standpoint. Okay, compile, save that. All right, so the next thing you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to make all these buttons work. So first, if you named all these like I told you to do, then you can just click on this first one. All these buttons should now be variables now. So when you come in the details panel, scroll all the way to the bottom on the first one on continue and hit on clicked, and then you should have all of them here in your variables list. So then click on whichever one, retry, on clicked, quit, on clicked, and then there you go. You got all 3 of them. So continue. You're going to do let's see here. You're going to do set game input only, because obviously you're continuing the game. Okay, and then you're going to get your player controller. So you want your player to resume control after that. Okay, you're going to show mouse cursor, set it, and then you're going to do set pause game. And then make sure that neither one of those are done, because you can kind of see, okay, well, first of all, okay, before you resume play, you are going to need to remove your mouse cursor from parent, okay, And you're going to need to plug this in, your player controller, to your mouse cursor here, and move from parent, and then you set your game pause. Shows that, hey, okay, I resume play. So now you can take this off the screen. Okay, on retry, you can open level. You can either do it by name or by object reference. So I could, if I wanted to do the by name, I just use this name here, third person map, and type that in. Or by object reference, I can pick it from a list. So that's my preferred method. So once I do by object reference, I can come down here and whatever maps, just make sure it matches the one you want to go to, third person map. And then just to show you the other one, let's see, open level. If I did it by name, then I just type in the level name here to match this. Okay. So that's all you would do for retry, and then your quit game. That's very simple. Quit game. All right. So now should have your pause menu all set up on the inside for your coding here, for your buttons to work. And then this, it will be your pause screen whenever you hit pause. All right, so that leaves us with the last part, which is now we have to code it into the character. So that project settings thing, making the action mapping, you're going to have to put the input action, and when you have the input action event, then that's why we add it in our project settings, because now we can choose pause as a starting point. So from here, when it's been pressed, you want to have a flip-flop. And the reason why is because you have two different events, and it's just a lot easier if you do it like this. The first A, then B. Okay, first A, you're going to create a widget. You're going to go to your pause menu. You're going to add this to your viewport like you would, so that way it shows up on your screen. Okay. Next thing, let's see here. Set game paused. Yeah. Game's paused. All right. Next thing, you're gonna do input game input, maybe game and UI, because this is gonna be on your pause screen. Okay. So you're gonna get your player controller here. You're gonna make sure to get that, because if you don't, then it won't work. And that one's not the right one. So make sure that you get the right one. Get your player controller. There's a couple different ones. Not this one, not the player state, the regular one. Regular get player controller. So that way your controller shows up on the screen. Okay. And then your next thing is you're going to set show mouse cursor, because you want your cursor to be able to select the item, right? And you want to be able to do that, so you want to check it. And this, you can always get it to come around everything else, so then that way it's nice and organized. At least that's the way I like to be. All right. So now that that part's done, the next thing that you're going to do is for B, you are going to I feel like I'm missing something somewhere. Nope. Okay, return value. You're going to remove from parents. And this is just your starting point. and you have to execute this. So again, make it nice and organized. All right, so the reason why I say keep it nice and organized is because, you know, obviously you don't want to get things confused. So, all right, so the next thing is you're going to remove it from your parent. You're going to game input, game only. All right, and then you're going to set show mouse, right? And this time, you don't want your mouse to show because you're resuming the game, right? So this one up here, it shows your pause screen. This one up here resumes your game mode. That's why it's removing it from the widget because obviously you're going back into it. So you don't want your mouse cursor to show up. And then the last one is set game pause. Do you want it to resume? So again, make sure it's unchecked. Okay, so now with all that in there, let's compile, save. Oh, there's something I'm missing. Oh, yes, on your game input, you want to make sure you get your player controller because your controller is what's going to control your character, right? So you're going to connect this up to your target on your set show mouse cursor. And obviously it works now. So, all right. Um, this should all show up now. So let's give it a go and see if we got it. All right, so we're running around, press P. And there is my pause menu. Might want to do something like make pause menu black or something. But to show you it's all working, if I hit continue, like if I click on it, then it continues me running around the map as you see. I press P again and press P once more, then it won't let me back out. But I'm sure there's a way to code that as well. But for right now, okay, just a basic, okay. So if I hit retry, it'll restart the map for me, as you can see. And then let me just run over here real quick and show you, okay. If I hit P again, and then I hit quit, it'll bring me back out into the editor, and now I'm walking around the editor. So, see, I got a fully functional pause menu, and I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. And we'll see if we can get that other part working for you later. But I mean, you get the idea. You know, mainly works with what you need. So, thank y'all for checking out this tutorial of how to make a pause menu. We'll see y'all in the next one.